Greetings and welcome to another installment of the Seeds of Abundance Think Tank. I am the founder, Ebony Davis, and I greet you. Welcome. I appreciate your time spent. I appreciate the sacrifice that you've made to be here with me today. I want to extend this as an invitation for you to list and post any of your comments and concerns, any additions. All of your thoughts are very helpful as we are in the planning stages of our movement. Tonight I want to talk about the Council of Elders project. Basically, this is a group of elders, legendary elders rather, that have been pillars in the community for the past 30 to 40, even 50, and hopefully 60, 70 years. Maybe I'll find them. And they are the people who we will use as the point to, or the refer to point where we go and defer to them for information. I want to pick their brains. We're going to do docudramas. I want to find out their recounts of Watts' history. I want to talk about the two rebellions that occurred. I would like to talk about the wave of weaponry, the guns that were left in Watts. I want to talk about the wave of crack cocaine, all of the contraband, the various things that occurred so that we can bring it up to date and see the ramifications of all those past occurrences today. It is my strong belief that the history repeats itself, that it moves cyclically, and that as we are turning into another phase in time, that we will begin to see a lot of the same themes coming back and replaying for us. This is a time where Watts is at a turning point, a crossroads, so to speak. There are no jobs. The city is broke. The state is broke. All art programs are being annihilated. Watts was hit hardest the first. They're even trying to steal the Watts Towers, these various rich interest groups. I dare not say, you know, the groups, but it's a shame. You would think that all of the publicity, the money, and everything that is dumped into their communities, that they would be able to come up with some culture and some type of symbolism of that community's bond or that community's story. But that's not the case. Our towers are even trying to be taken. I'm wondering if that has happened before since they were built. There are issues that we need them to talk to the young people about. Like recently, there was a 12-year-old young man shot down and killed in the projects. I believe it was the Jordan Downs in Watts by the police. I don't know what their excuses are. I don't know what their reasoning is. But what I do know is that there is civil unrest. It's building and it's bubbling up. And so, what I don't want to see is the type of rebellion that would bring the financial backlash that the 1960s and the 1990s rebellions did. Watts is in a peculiar position where we have corporations because it's been quiet. There's been somewhat of a lull. You had the Watts riots, but then you also had the gang truces of the 90s. And you have a lot of the different organizations that have opened and established themselves to address issues like gang violence and issues like illiteracy, rehabilitation, as in returning home from correctional facilities and getting reacclimated back into society. They have work source centers, but you know, they're not there's no jobs happening in Watts. So what I want to do is use the elders' memory as a go-to, because I know that they will be able to provide us with information that we can use to decide how we will move forward. Like this young man in the projects, they understand that those rebellions cause the backlash, that those rebellions are that our financial status and our upward mobility or the lack thereof in Watts is a direct result and ramification of those rebellions of the 90s and the 60s. It's already an area that business says is dangerous and they don't want to come to, and rebellions only give them further cause and excuse. So the elders would be able to talk about how they saw, okay, the people did feel appeased possibly, but they also later were saddened because the food resources were limited because there was rioting, or the stores were burnt down, and now they had to drive miles to the closest grocery store, which there's only two grocery stores within the confines of 9,002, and they're building another, but I'm not sure if it's even within that zip code. And if you understand anything about Watch, you would understand that a lot of the people do not have vehicles, and if they do, they're not supposed to be driving anyhow, so they don't need to be driving further away to go to a grocery store. And the grocery stores that they have there are not up to par as well, but that's another topic for another day. So I believe that they would be able to help in situations like that. Now, how do we choose this council? What do we do? Excuse me, I have to readjust myself and have some tea. Okay. How do we choose this council? Well, legendary elders. We have elders in our community who have done beneficial things. We just lost one of the wonderful people, Tommy Jaquette. He did the Watts Summer Festival. He was a very active person within the community, bringing resources and drawing commerce and business to the community. But he has recently passed away, and he is greatly missed. But we do have elders who are there, like Buffalo Soldier, Mr. Powell's, who is an activist artist who has coined pop art in a sense that it attracts the eye and gives a direct message at the same time. It's really effective with youth. I noticed he did some work for me. He was a Buffalo Soldier. He's been in Watts for quite some time. He's a famous a musical pianist. We have Mr. Aguirre. He's a famous artist. He's been in Watts for some time. We have elders, legendary elders like Miss Olamay Taylor, Miss Olamay Toller. We have legendary elders like Miss Grisby, and she just blesses my heart to see her walking around. I saw her at the Watts Neighborhood Council meeting. Um, and we have other people. I would like to ensure that we have a balance of masculine and feminine elders in times of duress, war, and just civil unrest, or in times in famine times. And I'm using strong words, but in a relative sense, these words are very appropriate for Watts. In times where resources are very strict, very limited, men and women are affected differently. Resources and programs may be given to women. However, women are not as upwardly mobile and able and ready to be able to go out and spend a lot of time away from the home making money. So we would need masculine and feminine forces. That's just a small example of how those forces can combine as a complement to provide a more holistic, more realistic, and all-encompassing point of view. These are just some things and some areas that I want the Council of Elders to address, but also to be a point to for civil action when it relates to the community as a collective, and to officiate different things that are in the community. We need people to look up to. That is the essence of this. I'm running out of time, so I will leave you with these thoughts, and we can discuss this in full later. Thank you.